right back here on this bolt right here that holds the factory amplifier assembly in place. So to do that, it's pretty simple. We're just going to take our ground wire here that we've sent you. It's already got a terminal on the end of it. We're just going to take this 8mm bolt out. Again, we're not doing anything permanent to the car, which is the beauty of all of this. Actually, you know what? They've gone and put a rubber grommet in that hole. This car is a little bit different than what I'm used to. Usually they've got a metal clip back there. So that is not going to be a good ground because it's not metal on metal on metal. So that being said, let's look back here and find a better ground wire. We want to make sure that it's metal on metal. You can use any of these back here. This is our taillight wire. You're free to use any of these back here. It's an 8mm as well. So you can take that nut off of there, and it should be just fine using the ground right there. That way we don't have to do anything permanent to the car in terms of modifying it. And then we'll just take it and tighten it back down using our either your socket wrench or your nut driver like I'm doing here. Just make sure it's nice and snug. There we go. So now we've got our RCA connections, our remote turn-on connection, and our ground connection just waiting to be plugged into the amplifier, as well as our remote turn-on connection. Now, with our remote turn-on connection, if you've already made your connection here, it is imperative you do not turn the ignition on. In fact, I'd rather you just have your battery disconnected completely. Thinking we should have started off the film with that. This cannot touch metal because once the key turns on, it becomes live. So what you would do is just take a little piece of electrical tape, if you don't want to disconnect your battery, which we do recommend, by the way, and just tape the end of it up so it can't touch any metal, and that way you can leave it flopping around back there until you're ready to do the amplifier install. Now in this car, let me hop back here. We actually the amplifier is going to live in this area. I may have shown you guys this, but this is where it's going to live. We're just going to put it back here. It's going to be really simple. But in order for it to fit a little bit better, I want to pull out this gold piece here that's on the floor. And it's just held in by a couple of 10mm plastic bolts, or nuts rather. And so we're just going to take this out of here because it's going to give us a little bit more depth to work with. This is the base bracket for a CD changer, so if you've got a friend with one of these E39s that for some reason or another wants a CD changer, you can give it to them. And if you have a CD changer in your E39, you can still wedge the amplifier back here. It's a little bit more of a challenge. But if that's the case, I recommend putting the amplifier elsewhere, maybe on the back wall or something like that. So this just unbolts right out of there. And you'll find your 3 and 6 pin wires, which most likely you have connected to satellite radio or an iPod or some sort of thing. And now, as you can see, it gives us quite a bit of extra room to mount the amplifier. And that's actually how we're going to mount it. All we do, since we don't want to make any modifications, we put a very strong strip of Velcro against this top edge and just Velcro it right there. And then that way the door just closes right up on it. It's completely invisible. So let's kind of gather our thoughts here, get everything lined up. We're going to get some things together here and join you back for the power wire installation, as well as the enclosure installation and the routing of the speaker cable from the amplifier to the subwoofer.